Can you tell us at Groundspeak, are you currently working on any other apps?
Um, right now, we have three teams who are dedicated to improving and working on the three platforms that we have. So, our process now is to come up with updates and upgrades very often. So, we're looking at updating the apps that
Hmm.
someone buys once, and then the updates are free for the lifetime of their purchase
Okay.
as often as possible. So we have in-house, we produce apps for the Windows Phone 7, Android, and also for the iPhone. And we have three dedicated teams who work just on those apps. And their job is to listen to customer feedback, improve the apps, and to make the functionality as close to the website as possible and increase the user experience so there's an ability to just easily have this interaction, the user experience as clean and as vivid as possible. So we're always improving, and that's our focus right now is to make the apps as best as we can and incorporate as much user feedback. So if you have a comment or you have an idea for the app, let us know because the developers and the programmers look at that and they use that and they're geocachers too. And they want to make
Okay.
sure that the experience is as fun as possible and as easy to understand as possible for anyone who's kind enough to purchase one of the apps.
Okay. Can I ask, well, we at AppAppeal like web apps a lot since we reviewed over 2,300 right now. And we were curious to see which web apps do you yourself use?
So I'm a big fan. I'm social media, so I'm a big fan of anything that allows me to interact with individuals. And what I find is very difficult often is you have a macro experience where you have 600 Facebook friends and you have this many Twitter followers. So what I really enjoy is an app called Beluga, which allows you to have a group for a finite amount of time, and then have the group be just connected for a purpose. If you're going to a convention or if you're in a location, or even if you're at a family reunion and you want to make sure everyone's connected, but it's just going to be for a finite time, I find Beluga to be a great app that I've used in the past and that I enjoy and I think has a good user experience.
Okay. And based on your experience in Groundspeak and also working with geocaching and the developers at geocaching, can you tell people that want to start their own web app, their own company, can you give them some advice, some tips?
Yeah, I think it's all a mental mind frame. And I think someone who goes into the idea of producing an app, I think it's important to find a market that is still new and untapped. So don't try to recreate something that already exists in a very cultivated form, but also to have the flexibility and mental dexterity to be able to adapt. So I think any experience is all about adaptability and expectations. So if you have those two
Yeah.
uh, concepts in line, I think you'll do really well. So don't be uh, utterly focused on one end result, but more on the process to receiving a broader result. And something that we've experienced here at geocaching quite a bit is user feedback. And you'd rather hear boos than hear crickets. So you'd rather have people interact and tell you that something isn't what they'd like as opposed to not
Yeah.
tell you at all because they're still engaged. So if you get negative feedback, appreciate that it's feedback and use that to make your product better. So don't eschew negative feedback, but use it, harness it, and then build on those people because they're engaged enough to offer you feedback. So you still have them. And I believe it was Mussolini who said, "You only hate me because you still love me." So there, for someone to invest enough to tell you that they don't like you, they still like you in a way,
It
because
means
it's
they care. Yeah.
so use that and harness that to make your app better. So whatever you're doing, have some mental flexibility, have some dexterity in your process, and take feedback, good or bad, and use it, and don't discount anything, and especially harness the negative feedback.
Okay. And as a social media expert, how do you do that? Can you give us some ideas?
Um,
Especially considering, let's say, the scenario, or let's consider the scenario. We're starting. a new web app, and we're very enthusiastic. We're very agile. We're very open-minded, but we don't know how to which should be the first social media actions that we should undertake in order to enhance our success chances.
I think there's a great process whenever you're launching a product. And it depends really, so there's a bunch of variables. It depends if you already have a customer base or if you're already able to mainline into a certain population. So if you have, say, 1,000 people who are interested in what you're producing, you have to seed the ground a little bit, tease, and then you have to create brand advocates out of these 1,000 people. So you have to cherry pick a few people to introduce and give some privilege to, so they become brand advocates. So if it's pre-releasing your app to a few people to review and giving them this prestige and giving them this little bit of an honor of being one of the first in exchange for their review and their insight into how to use your app, that I think any community engagement you get where someone from the community is your supporter, is your advocate, I think that's going to help you in the long run and increase your credibility. So if you're launching an app, cherry pick a few people previously to launching the app to test it, become your brand advocates, you're establishing some grassroots, and moving forward, once you release, you want to make sure that you listen to that feedback. So the real quick tip would be to do some pre-release strategy and not just send something out there and hope for the best, but to really have some interaction planned and possibly a 4 to 6 week rollout previous to when you do your mass release about how you ramp up for that release.
Okay, so get some companies or some clients already behind you to back up your product and give you continuous feedback to improve it. That's the best solution. Okay, thank you for that. Well, anybody you or your company would like to thank for helping you win this award?
I think it's all the geocaching community. I mean, we're
Definitely.
60 people. We're 60 people in Seattle who enjoy geocaching. We're in the middle, in our company here, in the middle of a geocaching challenge. So this is something that we enjoy, and we hope that transfers to the application. And we're always interested in feedback, and we know that the geocaching community is a community that we're part of and that we enjoy, and they're the ones that really power this activity, and we're just thankful and excited to be part of that process.
Okay. Do you have any questions for us, for the AppAppeal team?
Where are you? You talk to us a little bit about where we're headed. Where's AppAppeal headed?
Well, we're headed to 10,000 web apps reviewed, and I don't know. The number of categories depends on how many things are gonna come up, how many inventions, how many ideas people will have, but we're actually hoping we can get to 10,000 web apps. That's a number we would be like ecstatic about, and we're slowly making our way towards it.
And what's involved in the review process? I mean, when you look at an app, what sort of diligence is involved in reviewing that app, and is it one person? Is it a team? What's involved in that process?
In general, we review the web apps. The people that review the web apps are people that have lots of experience behind them. Like they have reviewed and they have experienced working with lots of web apps already. They look at the design, at the feeling of the web app, how easy it is to use, how intuitive it is to use, or the interface, the features, which are the most important features, for example, a bit about the history behind the app, and of course, the general introduction of the app. What it does, what it's supposed to do, which are its main competitors, what is the pricing plan, what mobile features, what mobile apps, sorry, mobile versions does it have, and so on and so forth. So we're trying to offer all our clients and all our customers and users, sorry, all our users, we're trying to offer them a the complete portfolio of information regarding a certain web app. Not too much, but not too little at the same time. We're trying to find the balance of information so as to satisfy each and every need.
All right. Well, you do a great job. Thank you for your service.
Well, thank you very much for that. And thank you for geocaching. I had lots of fun using your website and trying to find caches. It becomes a bit annoying sometimes when you can't, especially if you try to do geocaching in the Netherlands and you don't speak Dutch, like I
Ah,
do. And since some of the caches and some of the maps and the story and the puzzles are in Dutch, it's Google Translate doesn't work that good over there.
oh yeah, it can be difficult, especially if there's a language barrier and you're in another country. But
Yes,
it's a great way to
to learn the
see something
language.
you didn't think so. We have a as I do social media, and I'll make a quick pitch. But we have videos that we've shot from around the world,
Hmm.
and I've had the chance to go to Germany and the Czech Republic to shoot videos. But the places that geocaching can take you are amazing. We did a cache underneath the streets of Prague. We went to a former Soviet military base in Germany. We did a great river rafting. We talked about community, but a geocaching event that was river rafting in the Czech Republic. So if you're traveling, geocaching can be a great way to see something that you never knew existed.
Yeah, well, the most beautiful place I've been with geocaching was at Hark Castle, which is near Utrecht City in the Netherlands, and it was absolutely great.
Oh,
I
good.
and I actually learned a lot about the castle, things that weren't even presented in the tour of the castle, only by doing the geocache, only trying to find the cache. It was a really cool experience,
Oh,
and
that's
thank you for that.
fantastic. Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's the name of the company is Groundspeak, and that's the idea that the ground tells stories, that each location has a different story. That's the basis of geocaching, that each location, and by hiding the cache and finding the cache, you share that story.
Okay. Thank you very much for this interview. It was a pleasure to talk to you. And on behalf of AppAppeal and myself and the whole team, I would like to wish you good luck and to many more users.
All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate the time.
Okay, have a nice day.
You too.
Bye.